Okay, live-ish. All right, that works too. Sorry, getting everything set up here, folks. Eh. Do-do, do-do, do-do. Okay, so I'm here. The rest of the team will be here soonish, and I am just getting things set up on my computer while you are able to look at the little intro screen here. But again, face, say hi to everybody. It has been a while. So I should flip this up this way so that I can see how many people are actually in it and see the chat as well. Okay, agenda over here. Close those. Making sure I don't have a cat trapped in here with me, which will happen. Oops. Okay. Feel some weird, or hear some weird fragmenting going on with my audio. Okay. We'll leave it at that. I think it's working okay. So, hope everybody's doing okay. And the weather has taken a turn for the, chilliest, but it's not too bad right now with the sun out and stuff. Anyways, for those of you who are currently in at the moment, how's the audio sounding? I know that's been something in the past we've had to struggle with. Thank you. Doesn't seem to be too much latency in what I'm doing on stream and what's being delivered to the YouTube channel, so that's good also. It's been some time since I did one of these, and computer updates and application updates always make me nervous when I have to do this. Oh. All right, we'll give it just a few more minutes. I'm waiting for the team to get in, as well as just more people who might be joining right at the noon hour. So we'll kick off soon enough. Hope everybody's doing good, staying sane, etc. trying to trying to kick this thing off here, and I've got children getting done with their morning schooling. those will be my distractions. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that on. Go over here. I will unmute myself in the Hangout so you guys can hear there what I'm chatting about. And let's pop on over to here. We don't need the camera on for that. It's good seeing you all. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matt Goins. For those of you who are, I don't know, not familiar with who I am, I'm the one you'll usually hear from whenever anything is happening within the service, or good or bad. And so this is our November Lunch and Learn. We didn't have one last month. Nothing too exciting was going on last month for us to check in with folks. Honestly, there's nothing too extravagant going on in November as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that as we go through this Lunch and Learn. But we did want to at least have a little check-in, a little touch base with all of you, just to kind of talk about some of the things that we have been working on, some of the things that we're working on, we're continuing to work on in the background, and then kind of start looking ahead towards next year, 2021, and some of the things that we're going to engage all of you on moving forward. So the first thing to touch on very pointedly is we did update the UW theme last week. It updated, I believe, Thursday. Let me pull this over so you can see what my little agenda is here. So we did update the UW theme last week, and primarily it was all internal things that we were updating with the theme. We updated what's called the Advanced Custom Fields, or the ACF. That was in that theme update. The Advanced Custom Fields, those are the things that we have used to create all of the various page elements that are used within our UW theme. So that all has to do with, primarily creating these types of things here. So that was the big part of that update. We also have coming up this weekend, we sent out a communication about it, but on Sunday we are going to be updating the PHP version that we're using. Phil's on the line, and I'll ask him to chime in to kind of, I guess, discuss maybe what this means from a service standpoint, so you all are kind of aware of why we're doing this. But it is going to cause a blip in downtime. We don't anticipate that downtime to be very long or very substantial, but it is going to happen on Sunday. Phil?
Yeah, so we're just updating to PHP 7.3, which is still not the most current one, but it does get us a lot closer to being, in a better position with that. What mostly will happen is we'll be going from a cluster of servers down to one, so that we can switch the brand new server with the 7.3 on there into it pretty seamlessly. So that's for the vast majority of folks. There are less than 10 that are on the intranet server. That's not a cluster at all. So, and that has to be manually updated because it's another one of these things that we were trying to get rid of, but the update process is not straightforward for that one. So that one has, we're estimating the downtime on that one. Again, just for everybody, we said we're planning on about an hour for production for everybody. And then for the intranet server, there's very few people on there. That's about 2 hours. Now that includes a buffer for, if something goes wrong or stuff doesn't work. What I can tell you is that the transition on dev and QA have been pretty painless. I've got all of the steps that were necessary to take care of it, and this is exactly why we have these other environments. I had missed a few things on dev and QA, but I've got those all written down now. So again, vast majority of what's going to happen is just that the capacity is a little bit reduced because we're going to go down to one server and then swap in a new one that has the 7.3 installed on it. What we didn't see at all was any actual changes like with PHP itself. Like, so in other words, there weren't massive amounts of errors. There wasn't any new errors, which is actually kind of interesting. So that leads me to believe that we're actually in a pretty good place, that this is going to be a pretty uneventful kind of change.
Mhm.
So hopefully that adds a little more context. Drop some
Yeah.
more questions in the chat there if you've got it.
And so we're moving to 7.3, I think you said.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's a version afterwards. Do we have a time frame of moving beyond 7.3?
7.4 or later would happen when we actually get some compatibility things from Amazon.
Okay. Okay.
Specifically, there's part of the W3 total cache page
Mhm.
caching that uses a Amazon compiled and Amazon delivered module, and they haven't made that for 7.4 yet.
Yeah.
They said they're working on it, but we don't have a timeline on when that's going to be available.
All right.
Otherwise, we would have jumped to 7.4 right away.
Sure.
So
So I mean, that's part of that question is to just put into context the fact that we can't just jump to something just because it gets released. We do have to do quite a bit of testing, quite a bit of compatibility review to make sure that when we do make the change, it doesn't break, well, WiscWeb, but then others that work with us on our Amazon Web Services cluster, which is like School of Education and CALS and other like Do It web hosting sites. So we all kind of live in the same um, environment, and so we have to do a lot of testing to make sure that the little updates that we do don't break everything. I shouldn't say little updates. This isn't a little update, but it is an update that could break everything if it wasn't tested and we didn't confirm that it will work appropriately. So again, just oh, go ahead.
and the rest of the timeline on the PHP stuff, just to put this in context, PHP 7.3 was originally released on December of 2018. So it's not, shiny new bleeding edge kind of stuff. Even 7.4 was November of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So just to put those into context, these aren't things that came out last week. And at least in the case of those two things, the vast majority of plugins have been 7.3 compatible probably since that December of 2018, honestly. And then, we could say the same thing about being compatible with 7.4, is that most of them would move within a few weeks of something like that being released. There's betas and release candidates that all happened before that, so it's not like it wasn't unknown. And WordPress core itself has, again, for their purposes, they're still doing some compatibility back to like some of the PHP 5 versions. I forget if it's which exact 5 thing they're still compatible with. A ton of our plugins are not, and that's besides the fact that PHP 5 is so far out of date, out of support. It's crazy. So
Yeah. Okay, so again, that's coming on Sunday. Downtime will be minimal, but there will be downtime in there. Next up is talking a little bit about some of the things that we're adding to the self-service plugin. So for those of you who aren't aware, um, as administrators of your sites, you have the ability to turn on or off particular plugins that we have available within our service. You access those by just going over here to plugins on the left side of your screen. I'll zoom in a little bit more there. And then in there is a list. Now, a few of these we don't have set as self-service, but they are visible to you when they are activated. So right now, Google XML Sitemaps is not self-service. Publications, social share, those aren't, but they're on our list of items to add to the self-service options. But we did turn on the UW knowledge base search. So for those of you who use the campus knowledge base, you have the ability to link your knowledge base documents as part of your WordPress site search. So um, this works better at the WiscWeb site. But when you go and you have this turned on, if you do a search for something, so I'll just do a search for user because I know that will definitely pull things back. On the left side here, this is our Google custom search engine function here. So it searched the site and it found the various things that are um, associated with that particular search term, user. But then on the right side here, this is the knowledge base results as well. So again, for those of you who are using a knowledge base setup as well as a WiscWeb site, this is kind of a nice integration to take advantage of as well. Um, it works nice for us, so I'm not going to belabor that conversation. Um, and then the other one that we added that is activatable for you. So Gravity Forms was one of the first ones that we turned on for you. We also just turned on this plugin right here, which is the Gravity Forms integration for WP data tables. So I don't have an example of this, but I plan to do some training next month on data tables, and I'm going to do an example of this as part of that training next month. Um, but what you can do is you can create a form, pull that data in via a form, and then using a WP data table, you can actually build a table based on the entries from that gravity form. Now, it gets a little weird in there because the table won't work until there are entries in the gravity form. So it's kind of a chicken and the egg kind of thing right there, because you have to have the gravity form to create the data table off of it, but the data table can't be, it won't work until there are entries into the gravity form. Um, so a couple of the groups that I have worked with this specific thing, they've done like alumni updates. They'll do a gravity form that they have people fill out, and then that populates into uh, a table. I think there was one that was program partners, so businesses that have interacted with or are employing alumni of a particular program. They'll have some information in about those various programs or those various businesses or industries. So that's a nice one. It's kind of fun to use for a little more interaction between audience and populating content on your site. Um, so those are the two that have been activated now. Like I said, we are still going to be looking at activating the Google XML sitemaps one, so that that one can be turned on via your own administrative access. Um, oh, the redirect is also in there. So this is one that we get pretty often. People asking about setting up redirects because they've seen various Google searches where it's pointing to an old, excuse me, an old URL, an old page, or something like that. You can activate the redirection plugin yourself. We'll work with you as best we can on this, but sometimes the amount of redirects you might be looking for, you might need to take a look at the vendor documentation to see it. Linda, I don't have a sample of that new gravity form or this function right here, because I haven't set anything up with it. We did all of our testing internally, but I will do something next month and show that off as well. Redirection also activatable. I talked about Google XML sitemap, and then publications we're still working on making that something that you can turn on yourselves. We just have a few bugs that we have to work through on that. And then also the UW Social Share plugin. So what this is it allows for you to, whenever you create a post within your site, so an event or a news article or something of that nature, you can actually share it out via these four options right now. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and through email as well. So that's something else that we will be activating soon-ish. I don't have an ETA on that. We're kind of working through again some bugs on those. So those are the ones that we're working on there. I don't know that there's anything else to add other than we keep trying to do as much as we can to sort of take the burden off having to go through us and our various timings, and instead giving you a little bit more ability to do what you need via those plugins. Um, I'll skip the Open Lab conversation for now. I'll get back to that in a second here. The training video is located in one location now. So one of the things that I had been tasked with and sort of tasked myself with was taking all of the various training videos that we have done over the past year and a half or so, and just creating one specific page with all of these training videos on them. I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to the work that I do, and so it took me a while to actually get to a point where I'm just like, okay, I'll get to it. That's what it is. Um, so off the training page, right now I still have the two older video links in there, but now I have one that is all training videos, and then in there it's just a featured content block setup. So the three beginners training videos are here. So for those of you who are adding new editors, or for those of you who have taken over sites and haven't been able to go through a training with me because obviously we're not on campus and that's where I've always done the trainings. Um, these three videos are now out there for you to take a look at. I have a plugins section, so this one's going to start to grow more as I start to deliver more of the plugin specific type trainings. Right now I've got the Gravity Forms events calendar, and then this one I did just recently, which is more with Gravity Forms. So kind of expanding on what you already know with Gravity Forms and kind of poking at some of the newer, maybe more advanced things that you can do with Gravity Forms, like creating news articles based off of a gravity form. That was something that people were interested in, so that was in this one right here. And then below that we have user experience and content management, and this is one that we want to continue to build on and build out, because this is basically that it's that opportunity where many of you are familiar with or comfortable with, WordPress and the theme and things like that, but it's the question of what else and what's next. And so a lot of these UX and content management things are, what else can you do with this content that you've created, and what else can you do to sort of optimize your site, looking at analytics, um, accessibility, user testing, growing your site. I always, whenever I'm training people, I always talk about the fact that your site it's sort of a living, breathing thing. It has to grow, and you have to attend to it. So these are kind of the idea that goes with that thought. So that's all off of the training page now. And again, I'm going to be getting rid of these two and just having the all training videos be out there and just sort of keep building off of that one as well. Let's see here. Phil mentioned in the chat the maintenance times for everyone. 8 to 9 for service wide, and then intranets roughly till 10 a.m. Rich put in community of practice information. There is no meeting for November, but there will be one in December. And actually, I was chatting with Jenna about this earlier, but that's one that I really do recommend you all either uh, show up for, or maybe get the video of it or the audio recording of it after the fact, because they're welcoming in Sandy Arendolkowski, who is our sort of our campus accessibility expert for academic technology and do it. And she is someone that I have leaned heavily on whenever I have questions about accessibility, and she's someone who I will always point people towards whenever they have questions about accessibility. So thanks for putting that in there, Rich. I do recommend people take a peek at that either on the time or after the fact. Very, very useful information there. Okay, back into the agenda. So, this this is something that is in the works and it's been in the works for a while, but um, what I'm hoping to do in December is to pilot a new way to provide open labs. And so this one I'm going to have to, I guess, beg patience of you all as I'm trying to do this in an efficient manner for not only all of you, but also for our very small team, because it can't just be me trying to field 10 people in an open lab, in a virtual open lab. So I have to make sure that I have people around to help out with questions and things like that. But the general idea is that we are going to use, to start with, Blackboard Collaborate to create breakout rooms. We're going to have people either provide questions ahead of time or register ahead of time so that we can kind of either individually address or as a group address those specific questions. We're still sort of fine tuning what that's going to look like, but basically we're going to use the Collaborate tool that we have here on campus. You can access that through your MyUW screen. We're going to use breakout rooms to allow for people to have a little bit more one-on-one time during that time frame. Still going to be a 2 hour window right now, and I'm going to refine that a little bit for, I guess, just expectations. But the hope is that we can do at least one of those in December, maybe two, depending on timing and desire. Once I get the signups squared away, or I guess the way that it's going to be signed up for, get that squared away. So that's coming in December. So look for more information on that. I'll communicate out about that as I can. But I know that that's something that has been missed by a number of folks, um, and it's sometimes tricky to get me when you have questions. So we're going to try and kick this back off so that we can sort of again have that sort of room where people can come to chat with us. Um, so that will be coming. So keep an eye out for that. And then lastly, um, this is something that we are working on as a service. But for those of you who are familiar with her, Ketter Joyner has rejoined Do It. She's not specifically with the WiscWeb team, but she is with our client engagement team, which I'm also a part of. But one of the things that I am going to be working with Keter on is developing another user survey. So for those of you who were around when we moved into WordPress, we did a user survey. We gathered a lot of feedback from our user base at that time, and it's been a couple of years since we've had that sort of that data. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to survey you all again, and I hope that you all do take part in it. I hope actually more than you all take part in it, because there's not our full user list here in the Lunch and Learn. But essentially, we want to know a little bit more about expectations, a little bit more about what we're doing good, what we can do better on, what could be done to improve the service, things like that. I'll be working with Keter on refining that user survey and getting that out to you all, because, like I said, we kind of want to know what the future holds and what 2021 will hold for us as a service as we move forward, because we're roughly over 3 years old now when it comes to the WordPress aspect of it. WiscWeb itself has been around for some time, but this evolution of WiscWeb, so we're getting to a point where we have matured, and so we kind of want to know what's next. How do we continue to grow? How do we continue to improve? And how do we provide quality service to you all while still being able to maintain a very large environment? WiscWeb is huge. So that is coming in the future. I'm hoping that'll be out in December as well. Again, Ketter and I are going to kind of, I don't really know, swarm that idea a bit. So, um, okay, I think that's it for my updates. Oh, Jenna, you're in the chat. Anything from your end to mention? I
Yeah, hi
usually I usually
everyone.
forget about things that you told me to remember.
No problem. Yeah, so I was just going to add to the fact that the community of practice is meeting and going to have Sandy from the user experience team come. I am also working on a KB doc that can be referenced when you're looking for resources related to accessibility. So it will link to some of the documentation that their team maintains as well as other campus resources that you can use yourselves but also can share with your team. I think a lot of it is website related, but there's also some good information in there relating to like any tools we use on campus. So that should be coming soon as well.
And for those of you who are not familiar with it, I see Colleen's question in the chat there. Colleen, the WordPress users community of practice, that's what that is an effort by Rich Gasson and others. Meg Hamill's a big part of that as well. Um, that it basically allows people who use WordPress here on campus, a large number of the folks are WiscWeb users, but it also has other folks who aren't, to kind of gather and share ideas, share practices, learn a little bit more, and I guess just kind of commiserate as WordPress users with all of the various things that can be done, either in WiscWeb, outside of WiscWeb, or you know, in general, just you know, building a quality website experience for your audience. So that's what the community of practice does, is they kind of come together and chat about those things and share quite a bit of that. There's more information under at WiscWeb, wiscweb.wis.edu, under support and community of practice. There is a mailing list that I would suggest people join so that you can get these updates. A lot of times people will also throw questions out to the email list, and um, it'll either be answered by someone on the mailing list, or Jenna and myself have jumped in on a few of those questions that we'll see. Um, so that's what the community of practice is. Excellent resource. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what I was going to do. So just to kind of go back on uh, the conversation about Sandy, um, user experience. The Center for User Experience over at Academic Technology. So for those of you who have been around for a bit, this was the Center for Digital Accessibility and User Experience. We lovingly refer to them as the CDOCS folks. Their official name is the Center for User Experience. There are a number of services that they provide. Um, Again, accessibility being a big one, but design research, design strategy. For those of you who have had the opportunity to work with Adam Hilsmeyer, he is a member of that team. I often lean on him whenever it comes to content management, content strategy, and using analytics to sort of uh, work towards better content management and content strategy. Adam is excellent at that. But this is off of, if you go to it.wisc.edu and just do a search for user experience, they have a page off of the it.wisc site, and you can see who all is a part of the team. Um, Again, quite a few of these faces for those of you who would come to the open labs. These should all, for the most part, be familiar faces because they were very gracious in coming to open labs to be resources as well. So I would really recommend taking a look at their offerings as well. Uh, let's see. Anything else going on team that I can think of? Any questions that you guys have in the chat that we can address right now? Like I said, this was a light month, but we did want to, or this was a light meeting but we did want to chat and check in with everyone, not anyone. I guess we want to check in with anyone too. Um, it's all mutes on my team over there. Any
Nothing over
questions?
here.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, Scott, I thought you were going to say something.
Just messing with the mute button to mess with you.
Yeah. um, all right. Question from, or maybe a question coming in from Linda. I feel like I need lobby music now because I'm going to sit here and wait for something to happen. The video disappears from the screen. Okay. So let's take a peek at the Kaltura setup, and then maybe Linda, that's something. Reach out to me, and we may have to troubleshoot that individually if it's something with your site specifically. Okay, so just to kind of build off of what Linda's asking about Kaltura videos, we have embed options for various video platforms. Kaltura being one of them here on campus is our campus media space, which is what the URL is, and then YouTube and Vimeo are also available. But you can access your Kaltura space by going to mediaspace.wisc.edu and log in the upper right, and then oops, that's not right because I'm logged in as the user. Please hold. My training user doesn't have any videos uploaded. Okay, so once you're logged in, you can go to My Media. And I'll grab this one just because I think it's long enough that it will be good enough. So once it's you upload by doing Add New. The longer the video, the more time it's going to take for it to process. But then once it's processed, you can go to the share and then go to the embed function. So you can't do embed because there's all this coding here. You don't want to do the link to the media page because that's just the link to it specifically. You want to grab the embed because the embed is what we use and what WordPress uses to actually embed the content into the page. So then once you have that copied, you can go and I'll just continue to edit my Hakuna Matata page. Okay. And then in a text block, you should be able to just paste that URL in. And when you paste it in, the way that the embed function works within WordPress is that it will automatically place that video on the page with the ability to play it from there. So then once you update, and I'm in as my training account right now, which is just basically an account that's similar to what our users would have, our user administrators would have. And so now what should happen is when I'm looking at the page, this is what you would see. This video would be placed here. Welcome in, folks. Sorry. My name. Pause. Sorry. Didn't mean to have the audio going there. You can hear me once. You don't need to hear me multiple times. Okay. So that's how it should work. Linda, if you just want to send an email to the support list so that we can kind of investigate further if there's something specific going on with your site. So, just what page are you trying to put it on? What the OEmbed URL is for the video that you're trying to put on there, and then we'll kind of poke at it and see what might be going on there. Other questions from all of you? There was a question about the COP list. Jenna has answered that. I would say, if anything, reach out to, if you have questions about the community of practice, the list, about it in general, reach out to Rich Gasson, and he'll be able to set you on the way. Alrighty. I'll just kind of wrap up shop with that. I'll keep an eye on the chat, but thank you all for joining. Like I said, easy, light meeting this month, but again, just an opportunity to just chat a little bit. Look next month for us to be communicating out more about the open labs that will hopefully be happening in December. I guess look for that in the next few weeks here, but they'll be happening in December. I'd like to get them figured out and scheduled sooner rather than later. And then again, the user survey will likely come out next month, or if we can't get it hammered out, January by then. But we do want to survey you all and guess just get some feedback from you all. Anyways, I think that's it from us. Looks like there's some more chat about the COP going on. So again, if you have questions, reach out to us or reach out to Rich Gasson, and he'll work with you on that. Anyways, that's about it from us. I'll end the stream there. As always, feel free to reach out to us as a team. My email has my team's link that you can chat at me if you have some questions. You can also reach out to the cms-support at doit.wis.edu. That is our support email address. Tickets get created, bumped up to us, and we work on things as they come in. Otherwise, thanks for showing up. We'll talk to everybody soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hi.
I'm gonna go make a sandwich now.